and Dr. David Evans, your TV host. On the PIC TV network, you see these special guests talking about public officials, events. On the PIC TV network, Channel 1000, you our special guest. Don't forget to watch Channel 1000 and also YouTube PIC TV. Hello, PIC TV Network fans. This is David Evans, President of PIC TV Network. We have a special show tonight that we are excited to bring America on the PIC TV Network. You know, we are live in Washington, D.C., and this is a special time in our city because we are talking about election. And we have a show called a Public Official Show, and we're so happy for all of you who are watching, our guests from Panama, Brazil, France, Colombia, Mexico, Panama, Paris, Peru, Argentina, Egypt, Canada, Ireland, West Africa, United Kingdom, Australia, Belgium, United States. PIC TV Network is your network on Roku with all of these channels and all of these opportunities for people to watch around the world with interpreters through Roku, your #1 streaming device. I'm so happy today. We're going to beam this program in to California, the California Worship Center. And our special guest today is Pastor Warren Campbell Sr. I met him in California while me and my wife was there. And I've been to California Worship Center, I guess, about 6 or 7 times now. He always give me a big old hug. We take pictures. And I love his church. This is also where his son is the pastor, Pastor Warren Campbell. You know Mary, Erica, and Tina. This is where they go. And we're family. So I asked the pastor Campbell come on and talk about the electoral votes. What's the difference between the states that vote? And then we were talking about the last election and the election before that, and how you can win with people, but when the electoral votes comes in, the numbers may be a little different. And also we're going to have Pastor Collins coming on, and we're going to talk to him about Project 2025. And a lot of people don't know 2025 is really a form of the New World Order and the New World Government. He's going to take us to places that we never even thought about, how it was set up a long time ago. And if that does happen, God help us all. So let's welcome right now my special guest, Pastor Warren Campbell. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. God bless you. God bless you. Bishop.
You can call me David, man. You know, everybody got these titles these days. I don't worry about the titles.
You throw one at me. I like overseer. I'm considered the overseer of the church, and I keep telling them, I said, if I'm not overseeing, so you go over there and do something and leave me alone.
I want to thank you so much for treating me so nice. Every time I come to the California Worship Center, I'm family. You know, your son and everybody treats me with so much love. I just don't know why God created those big mountains, because you got to go through Moses Mountains before you Mount Sinai, before you get to California Worship Center.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a journey.
You go get a taste of heaven going to California Worship Center. Those mountains. And I fell in love with him. Me and my wife was in Pasadena, and we ride down to California Worship Center. We say, you know what? I love these mountains. You know, to have you on today, let's get right into this interview. And
Sure.
Pastor Collins is going to come on too, about the electoral votes. You know, we're in Washington, D.C., where the power is coming into the White House for another person. But let's talk about what we talked about the other day, about how this electoral vote is set up and how it works with the blue states and the red states.
Okay, well, I remember when we started the conversation and the Electoral College came up, and I've been frustrated with this for a long time. And I was sharing with Pastor Collins when Hillary Clinton ran against Trump back in 2016. Before my wife and I I didn't finish my coffee good, got in the car only to go down the street, and they announced that they projected Hillary Clinton has won California, which didn't surprise me because California is a blue state, the blue and the red. Well, we're a Democratic state. Okay, so it didn't matter what I wanted to do because she had already took California, so I didn't want Trump. I knew that. But if I wanted somebody else, doesn't matter. My vote really doesn't count, it so to speak, because that person has already won, and they tell you so right up front, and they tell you way in advance. Some of the things that I was sharing with Pastor Collins, when we look at all these different states, he's in Maryland. The candidates don't go there. The candidates not really bothering with California because it's a waste of their time because they're already going to be Democrat, Republican. The red state's a red state, the blue state's a blue state. And when you look at the numbers, when Hillary ran, she won by over, I believe it was over 3 million votes of the popular vote. Popular vote don't matter. And I think was said that in the last 8 presidential cycles, Republicans haven't won the popular vote. So have you scratching your head, and most people it goes right over their head. They don't think nothing of it. They just say, okay, well, I'm for so and so. Well, okay. If you ask them, okay, what kind of state you live in, red or blue? Well, most times they don't know. Well, who wins normally, Republican or Democrat? Do you have to tell them that? Oh, well, the Republican. Well, you for a Democrat? Yes. Well, you okay. I hate to tell you this, but that person ain't going to win your state. Go ahead and vote for them. That's fine. That's your vote. But sorry, it's not going to come out the way that you like it. And I looked it up a little bit after we had David had our conversation, and this went back. I said, when did this start? I forgot. 1780. So this has been going on a long, long time. And a lot of the things that are going on been going on in our system, pretty much have taken the average Joe, which I consider myself. I'm an old working guy, retired working guy. Okay, they make us feel good about what we're doing. Yes, I'm going to vote. And I was telling Pastor Collins, I said, because I found out what happened with Hillary and Trump, I turned the page. So now I got a whole bunch of other things to look at to see what else am I voting for? Bond issues, judges, councilmen, and so on. Okay, let me look at that because perhaps I have input into those voting for these different people, judges, and so on. And it's just a shame for the highest office in the land and the most powerful person on the planet, so it's said, we really don't have a voice depending on what state you're in. Now, if you're voting Democratic and the Democratic candidate is running away with it, then okay, yay, California, yay, we're in. But it's just a shame to where it's a system that we have no control over. I understand that they've been trying to do something about it, but I'm not optimistic that it's going to go anywhere because, again, it's control. And you're there in D.C., you know, Brother David, there's so much control going on that just ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
What did Michael Jackson say? All I want to know is they don't even care about us. They don't care. Their agenda, not ours.
Yeah, and it's so important for us to be educated, you know, because it's so many people don't know that aspect about the blue states, the red states. I want you to talk a little bit more about the blue states and the red states. Can you get into that, Pastor Campbell?
Well, again, the blue state simply means it's Democratic control. The Democrats have it. Is more Democrats gonna vote to win that state, to win? I forget how many electoral votes California has, but it's all goes for the Democrat. If you're in Texas, which is a red state, all of that's going to the Republican candidate. And it's just really that simple.
Yeah, and that's real talk. You know, a lot of people don't know that. At the end of the day, as you stated, Hillary Clinton won, and she won, but she didn't get the electrical votes, and therefore, we were kind of bamboozled, you know. And Trump came in, and we was like, "Wow, how did this happen? How did this happen?" Because there's another process that everybody must realize that there's another system in place. Wow. So In California, let's talk about your state. This is
Hmm.
where Kamala Harris is from.
Right.
My heart was broken when I went down to Skid Row. I have never ever in my life have witnessed anything like that when I went to Skid Row. I think we had a picture or something of it. Has it always been that way? Has Skid Row always been that way since you've been in California?
Um, for the most part, yes, it ebbs and flows. My wife and I went to San Francisco some years ago, and her cousin had worked within the city system for quite some time, and Willie Brown had just become mayor. And she showed us City Hall. Now, I'd never seen it before. I've been to San Francisco a lot of times, but just never went to that particular spot. And she said, look at this. What do you see?" Well, I see a big, beautiful building. What about it?" Said, "No, you see the grounds, big, beautiful grounds." I said, "Yeah, what about it?" She said, "Well, before Willie Brown, this was covered with homeless people.
Wow.
You could barely see the grass." And we're talking acres and acres of property before you even get to the Capitol building. Willie Brown came in. He said, okay, we can't have this. We want to have a tourist attraction. You can't attract tourists if you got homeless people, you're tripping over them. And so he pushed them out. Well, they pushed them to LA, to Sacramento, San Jose, or wherever. They get pushed around. So you go downtown, and here in California, what you saw, there's like 10 cities all over town, and not just say in the South Centrals and the Comptons and in the hood over here where I'm out in the Valley area and middle class area where my wife and I drove down the street, and there's like four, five, six older RVs and tents and junk, and basically I can walk to it. And it shocked me how many homeless people were there in this upper class area. And they're all up and down the street and just everywhere.
Mhm.
And of course, the the commentary is saying that we don't have any money for those that are having mental issues, and we don't have nowhere to put them. Now, of course, our church is working with. We have a young lady a lady that's dealing with. She calls it Beyond the Walls, and she goes down to Skid Row once a month and distribute food, clothing, a little bit of money, whatever necessary. And it's just she just overrun with people that are nowhere to go, sleeping in their car, sleeping on the street, sleeping wherever they can, coming from other states and get stuck here in California because when you come here, you better have something going on. People find out real fast. They come here with a few dollars in their pocket and it's gone before they can even cross the border good. And they
Yeah.
wind up with the homeless population. And so it's a huge problem. The newly elected mayor, she's been here for a minute, Mayor Bass, she's making some strides to try to help put people where they belong. If you got mental issues, I spoke with a young lady that came by the church the other day of helping anyone that comes near our church to where can I send them? We can offer them a sandwich, a pat on the head, pray for them. But okay, we go home, they go back to the street. How can we really help them? So the money now, I understand, is now being put aside to where we can actually help people to try to get them off the street, or in some cases, one young lady said, send you back home. Here's a bus ticket. We're going to send you back to Oklahoma, Alabama, wherever you came from, because living out here on the street is not good. Let's send you back to your family.
Wow.
Get you off of these streets. This is not good.
Yeah, and it's so sad that when I come to California, I see millions and millions that go down by the crypto arena. I go
Yes.
down to the alley. If you don't know what the
Mhm.
alley, I go to the alley. Pasadena, and then when I go to Skid Row, my whole world view changes.
Yes.
And my heart just drops because I have never. It was like a third world country when I seen it.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it. There's so many people were there on Skid Row. And there's so much money in your city. You're talking about.
Oh, you kidding? Yes. And that was some of the angst and the anger and whatever you want to call it, to where's all this money? There's a beautiful building near our church, Family Health Center. And so I asked the young lady that I was talking to the other day, I said, okay, what's going on? She mentioned Mayor Bass has been partnering with them and to get them to start doing some things to help people because for a while it was just there, wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, different places open up. They're not doing anything for anybody. They're not helping anybody get off the street. Apartment buildings are open and closing, and it just, what are you doing for folk?
Yeah. And that's the sad part. You know, there's a lot
Yes.
of people there just barely making it. And I believe in your city, you got to have $1 million just to be broke. To come to California, $1 million is nothing.
We was in again. Some friends of ours. We just decided to be tourists in downtown San Francisco. So we rode the bus, and the tour guide on the bus said at that time, this is about 3 or 4 years or so, well, actually before the pandemic. He said, in order to live in downtown proper San Francisco, you had to make at least close to $700,000,
Wow.
and that's for a little studio or something, nothing big. And I'm looking around like, what?
Wow.
And of course, it's much higher now. And oh yeah, you better have something going for yourself. just don't come popping in here. Ooh, I like it here. Yeah, well, me too.
Yeah, there is the big difference when you're coming out there in California. And I want to thank you. You know, you have been a friend and a brother, and been bonding together. Again, when I come out to California Worship Center is my home.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you showed me so much love. We were there, and I just love the worship there. And your son, we got to talk about him for a minute before we bring up Pastor Collins. You know, you birthed one of the greatest sons in the world, the record producer, Warren Campbell. When you talk about Mary Murray and, talk about his beautiful wife, man. I mean, in the studio you're in right now, you said this was the birth of a lot of
birth. We moved in the house and I said, okay, son, I don't have no use for this room. It's right in the garage where the builder built it. And so I let him do it, and he started Mary in here, and he did so many people. I would come home from work. I used to work an off shift, and I'd be tripping over people. He just had a parade of folk he's working with all the time, and this is where it all started. And he's still here. He just, like I told you, MC Light's album that's been out for a few weeks now, and something he did for Kamala Harris. The title just popped in and out of my head. It's on Spotify. For Such a Time as This.
Wow.
It's got Charles Jenkins and different other people, Lecrae and so many other people on this little short album. But he's here all the time.
Yeah, he's a man of faith and a man of love, and giving a shout out to him and everybody watching from the California Worship Center. I want to thank Pastor Campbell Sr. for being on with me. You're not going nowhere. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to bring in Pastor Collins, talk about Project 2025, and we're going to come out together, talk a little bit. So, folks, don't touch that down. You're watching, the PIC TV Network. Special public official show on Roku right now. Stay tuned for more.
Hello, this is Zakia Goins-McCants wishing all of you a happy holidays and a very special 4th anniversary to the PIC TV Network.
Hello, everybody. PIC TV Network special interview today. Tell us who you are.
I'm Eugene Boyd with my daughter, Lauren.
Oh, Lauren Boyd.
Wow. Tell us why you voted today.
It's our civic responsibility.
Wow.
I mean, simply put, every citizen should exercise this right. It's more than a privilege. It's a responsibility.
Yes, sir. And when you think about coming to vote, what makes this election so important than the other elections? Or what do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I think every election is important, but this
I was going to say the same.
Doubly important.
Thank you.
Because, democracy is on the line. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that. If you listen to what candidate, for instance, Trump has said, and his minions, we will not be living in what we think is a democracy. Even though it at times doesn't function to about the best of our benefit, it is what we have and we need to improve on it. Trump would take us backward.
Yeah, in COVID-19, I lost my sister, I lost so many friends, and being a minister, I lost so many of my pastors, and we can't go back to that, man. COVID.
No.
Most definitely not.
No, I mean, this is a man who said use bleach. I mean, it's impossible to fathom why anyone would vote for this man who led an insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's why we're out here.
So was it worth the wait getting in line, coming to vote early?
Oh, most definitely. It was definitely worth the wait. Again, as my dad said, for us, it's a responsibility that we definitely wouldn't abandon, even if there was difficulty or wait time or obstacles. We are very proud to have voted today, and honestly excited that we got out here and did it.
And what do you say to all your young people watching you saying, you know what, I can't get with that, you know, I'm not going to vote for nobody? What do you say to them?
You know, I would be honest and say it disappoints me. You're letting yourself down, you know. You're also letting your other fellow citizens of this country down, but you're letting yourself down too. You're giving up your opportunity to weigh in and make your own choices. And yeah, it's a letdown. It's a personal letdown for them. They may not be aware, but it is.
If I can add,
Yes, sir.
from an older perspective, there are people who have died
Mm-hmm.
for this right.
Mm-hmm.
And given that, your responsibility should not only be to yourself, but to generations past, whose shoulders we stand on.
And you know how proud I am to see a father bring his daughter out here, a black family, saying, I'm not going to go by myself, I'm bringing my daughter. And what's the TV network you're going to tell everybody to check out and watch?
Pick TV Network.
Let's go.
That's
Hey everybody, it's Bishop Collins out here. We're coming on television on the PIC TV network with the Public Officials Channel. Doc, why are you out here voting? You a preacher.
I'm voting for democracy and freedom.
Wow.
Period. End of story. People don't really realize what fascism does. Let me just give you a quick history on that. Basically, Trump is doing the same thing that Hitler and Mussolini did. They got the religious people all involved, and as soon as religious people revolted and got up against them, they turned on them, started killing them, started putting them out of office. So I'm just to all the religious folk, you can believe they may say religious freedom now, but believe me, it may not be so later once they get in. Because if you put authoritarian in party and in place, you're putting in trouble.
Well, you know what? I know God is real because you're coming on television tonight. You're voting at this moment. I went in and voted about 2 hours ago. Now I see you popping up. Doc, and I'm telling you, this is a God moment. Those who are watching right
course.
now, this man of God has so much knowledge and information to share with you about
please.
voting and about Project 2025. We're going to get into that. The blue states, the red states. We also so happy tonight that this interview was set up by God. Doc, I want you to talk about, again, the young people saying they don't know.
Oh my goodness.
You have a daughter, I have a son.
I have a daughter, have a son. And I think that they should get involved because this is not just, I'm 67. You know, my days here on earth are running short, to say the least. But for the young people that are going to be coming after me, believe it, you got to realize that you're voting for your future. You're voting for who's going to be in place to make the decisions about not my future, your future. And this is important. You need to get out here and do what is necessary. November 5th, if you're not going to get here early, make sure you show up on November 5th. Do whatever you can do, because we need to get some person in office that's going to vote for freedom and democracy and not fascism. Fascism is a terrible authoritarian government where they will tell you what to do. All you have to do is look it up. Look it up. I tell you, don't believe what I say. Look it up yourself and see what's going on.
And you know what, PIC TV Network fans around the world, I believe, and I was praying about this morning, that Project 2025 is the form of the New World Order. It's the New World Order. And they tried to put this in 5 years ago before COVID.
Right.
We're going to talk about that, the New World Order, because all the structure, and I thank you for the videos we sent this morning about Project 2025 and how we're not included. We're going to play that segment too. Man, for you to be up here at this moment, you know, God Hello, Pick TV Network fans. David Evans here, President Pick TV Network, Washington, D.C. It's a brand new show we got coming on right now, and it's the Public Official Show. And I'm so happy today to have my good friend and brother for over 40 years. He is a pastor, he's a bishop, he's a father, he's a leader, he's an author, he's a teacher, he does things in the marriage world. He's a worker, a community leader, an advisor. His name is Bishop Brian Collins. Again, we've been friends for over 40 years. And today he's going to talk about Project 2025. And he's going to put it down. You heard a little bit of it when he was doing this interview today. And we're going to also bring Pastor Campbell on with us, and we're going to collaborate. So, Pastor Collins, how you doing, man?
Getting better all the time. The best is yet to come. I refuse to complain. You know what I'm going to say. My good days outweigh my bad.
I love you, man. You know, we got to go back to the 70s, man. We had black hair. You know, we didn't need no glasses. We didn't need no glasses. Let me get Campbell in here with us for a minute. Campbell, we didn't need no glasses. We had black hair. We only gained about $130. We couldn't gain no weight.
Yeah. And I'm the old man here. He says 67. I'll be 70 in December. Ooh wee!
I'm pushing you hard.
So, folks, I want to get into this interview with Pastor Collins today. We both voted. Thank God for that. You've seen him, and I voted. Our wives were with us. And again, thank you for being married for 40 years, right?
46, my friend.
46 years. Where's my buzzer at? 46 years. Right. And I'm coming up there with you, man. I got 37 years. How many you got in there, Pastor Bishop Campbell?
49, 50. Come on.
Did you hear that?
I've been married my whole life.
I think we need to change the broadcast. Hey, Colin, we need to change the broadcast to the marriage stuff, so man.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, don't get me started.
So, America, you're watching today a Pick TV Network special we have. It's called a Public Official Show. And I want Pastor Collins to elaborate on Project 2025. And, you know, you really struck the nerve when we were talking today about the new one world government, the new one world order, and what Project 2025 is really about. And then I really want you to elaborate on that, Pastor Collins. You had a screen, sir.
Okay, God bless you. And certainly, I heard Pastor Campbell talking about San Francisco. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've been out to San Diego about 3 times, and I fell in love with it. Is it cost that much to live in San Diego?
Pretty close.
Oh, God. Well,
the homes are expensive.
I can scratch that off my bucket list. Thank you so much. But certainly, it counted an honor and a privilege to be on here tonight to discuss this, what I feel is one very important topic, particularly at this time. People have kind of just sloughed it off and leaving it to other people to make the decisions. But now is the time for you to really make make a decision and make your voice heard. Don't waste time. Make sure you get out and vote. If you haven't voted early or your time is passed, make sure you go out there on November the 5th and do your civic duty. And as I've said for so many months, this is not just about a regular voting season. This is about voting to maintain and keep democracy and to remain free, to be able to do the things that you're doing right now. Because if the system changes to a fascist system, believe me, it's not going to be the same. And I keep telling people it's not a problem till it becomes your problem. So unfortunately, that's what the people think. Oh, that's for them. No, but when it comes knocking on your door, it's going to become your problem. But let me say on the outset, because I want to put these points up before I go into some of the stuff that Pastor Dr. David asked me to talk about real quickly, because I know we got a lot of people that are believers in Christ. So let me say at the outset of my discussion tonight, I want to declare and decree unto everybody listening to me that I'm pro-life from the womb to the tomb.
So I want that to be clear, because I'm going to say some statements that may not agree with some folk. But I'm pro-life all the way, and maintain it personally in my life. Socially, economic. I believe life should be maintained socially, economically, and governmentally. So that means that's involving all of life, not just the beginning of life, but all of life. Because there's no need to have a baby born and then don't take care of it or provide services and whatnot in society to maintain life, which includes, for those of us that are at retirement age, Social Security, which is another big issue. I believe what the Bible says about human sexuality, as declared in both Genesis, Leviticus, and as Paul states concerning relationships between men and women. God created male and female, heterosexuals. He did not create homosexuals, meaning both. When you say homosexuals, you're talking about both gay men and lesbian women. So therefore, I want to declare those things real quick, because from a religious standpoint, as far as my biblical belief, I noticed really that a lot of preachers are using scriptures to support the platform of their party leaning. They have used the scriptures to support their platform, not necessarily kingdom principles, but they're using the scripture to support a political view, to get people to join in on that political view. I'm going to talk about that. Both parties, in my opinion, have unscriptural stances that they promote. Both parties. So let me put that out there. One party believes in helping the poor, elderly, those that are sick, homeless, and that promote economic fairness, protecting the earth that we live on every day, while supporting homosexuality and abortion. The other party believes in values, in certain values, small government, self-reliance, heterosexual marriage, while oppressing the poor, both economically, politically, financially, and they promote racism and have prejudicial policies. So both parties are unscriptural in a sense. Now, when saying that, what we got to understand is that Jesus did not come here to set up a political system. He didn't come here to do that. He came seeking to save them which were lost. And when they tried to push him into a political system, guess what? He said, no, my kingdom is not of this world. That's what he said, point blank. So again, we got to recognize, so what about the political systems? I was going to go into what the Republicans did, what their platform says, but I'm not going to spend the time on that. So we got to recognize that each must determine what are your major issues and concerns and the impact on your loved ones and society. So you got to really make that determination. So again, because it's not set up to be a theology, this is a democracy.
In a theocracy. So I want to come into a little bit about, because of our time schedule, Project 2025, and you have a presentation, a video presentation. Let's play a little bit of that video presentation. Project 2025, folks. Look at this, and we're gonna come back with comments. We're still waiting for the queuing up of the video. Pastor Collins, make sure we got that queued up and going. So on Project 2025, there's here it is. Okay, we go. Get the audio. Make sure we have the audio in there. Folks, yeah, we're looking at a video on Project 2025, and let's try to get this again. We have been and we're living in the last days, first of all. And when we see what's happening in our world today, I look at things that we see that we have never saw before. I have a version of it too. So before we get to Pastor Collins' version, we have another version of Project 2025. And it's a serious time we're living in today, folks. And I believe that we are entering to a season in time called the One World Government. And this One World Government is a time that we have seen some things in place for this to happen. One World Order. This is a time that we see the Bible speaks about it, talks about the One World Order and about the time that we are in today. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's go into this aspect of it.
By now, you've probably heard of the conservative plan known as Project 2025.
Yes, this guidebook has been published every 4 years since President Ronald Reagan by the right-wing think tank, the Heritage Foundation. Now, we're talking about this tonight because it proposes some sweeping changes to the federal government, a key issue in the upcoming presidential election.
Civil rights groups from the NAACP to the ACLU have spoken out against the proposal, a move they warn will disproportionately affect African Americans.
Investigative reporter Tracy Wilkins explains why it could have an even greater impact on Black people and the economy in our region here. Tracy?
Yeah, well, as you both know, the nation's largest population of wealthy Black people live in our region, especially in majority Black Maryland counties like Prince George's and Charles. Many of our strong middle and upper middle class Black families were built around the federal workforce. It's the region's largest employer. So we asked experts on both sides of Project 2025 how dismantling it would impact the Black middle class that has heavily relied on it.
2 cups of sugar.
When Michigan native Ashaki Robinson moved to Bowie, Maryland, she could hardly believe all of the concentrated Black wealth around her.
Not just middle class, but rich Black people.
Like many in her community, Robinson is a federal worker. She's a social science analyst for the Department of Housing and Urban Development and is speaking as a union representative.
You could be making a lot of money with your doctorate. There are a lot of things that you could be doing, and you're working in the federal government. Why?
Very few people are lucky enough to actually have a job that has meaning. And I'm one of those people that do it, and a lot of people that work for the federal government are.
HUD's mission is to ensure fair, safe, and affordable housing for all Americans. Tucked inside the 900-plus page Project 2025 document, former HUD Secretary Ben Carson calls for putting political appointees in top positions and scaling back affordable housing. The document also wants former President Trump's Schedule F executive order that was reversed by President Biden to be reinstated. It would strip job protections from career officials and policy roles, make it easier to fire civil servants, and requires loyalty to the president.
People shouldn't have to sell their souls to do a job.
Prior to the adoption of these civil service rules, people were appointed, and when elections changed, they lost their jobs.
Horace Cooper is chairman of Project 21, a program for Black conservatives at the National Center for Public Policy Research. It supports Project 2025. He says bringing back Schedule F will make Trump more effective if elected, even if it means some workers losing jobs.
I watched in the first Trump term, seeing how many government employees announced that they did not agree with the priorities of this administration and stymied them as a consequence.
ProPublica, a nonprofit news agency, was first to expose and publish Project 2025 training videos that explained how the playbook would work, including the replacement of federal workers.
Imagine what would happen if almost all federal employees opposed a certain president.
The Heritage Foundation declined the I-Team's request for an interview, even though many former Trump officials helped craft the plan, and it praises his past administration dozens of times. the former president has distanced himself.
I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it.
That hasn't washed away concerns for unionized federal workers like Alicia Saunders, a mom of 3 who works at the Department of Education. Project 2025 calls for the department to be dismantled.
What's going to happen to my household? What's going to happen to my paycheck? What's going to happen to my career?
Many in Saunders' family also work for the federal government, including her parents and siblings.
Has this been stressful for you?
Very, very. It's constant conversation.
In 2021, the most recent stats from the Federal Office of Personnel Management, it shows that more than 18% of federal workers are Black. That's higher than the country's entire Black population, which is just over 12%. Howard University political science professor Marcus Board says the high representation of Black federal workers is due to the job protections that have often eluded Black employees in private workplaces.
They have worker protections, federal worker protections that are guaranteed by the federal government. And so it's one of the few places where they can be sure that they're going to be supported, protected, and taken care of.
To some workers, it sounds like this is a direct attack on Black Americans and Black middle class who are affiliated with the federal government. How do you see it?
I think that's an accurate read.
Federal jobs have been a ladder up and a pathway to the middle class, to self-sufficiency and economic progress for Black Americans.
Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts is a member of a Democratic-led task force that held hearings earlier this year challenging Project 2025.
It is their pathway to enact widespread wholesale policy violence.
You're talking about deep budget cuts, hiring freezes. It's just a damning document, and I have every reason to believe that they would make good on it.
How can you count on government employment being around forever?
Cooper was senior counsel to former House Majority Leader Dick Armey, and he argues that African Americans can't rely on federal jobs and that more need to shift to the private sector.
Do not rely on government. Why? Because you can't rely on government. Is it a decade? Is it a century? At some point, it's going to be government that you're sitting there relying on that pulls the rug right out from under your feet.
Yet leaving the federal workforce and the security it offers is not a plan some like Robinson even want to consider.
My good government job, my good government job. It has paid for a lot of things.
Of the more than 2 million full-time federal workers, more than 300,000 are concentrated here in the D.C. metro region. The thing to remember is that this is a living document that has been written over decades. Regardless of who gets into the White House this time, workers tell us the future stability of federal employment is what's keeping them up at night. So it could impact a lot of folks. The experts we're talking to saying disproportionately so African Americans, specifically those who work for the federal government in our region.
So I'm sorry?
I was going to ask about, but there is a movement to fight this.
Yeah, there is a movement to fight it. You also hear that President Trump is distancing himself from it, saying this is a document that I'm affiliated with. It has some good ideas, some bad ideas. But the plan, if you were to ask the Heritage Foundation, is that this is the playbook, that this is what they would like to see the president, the next Republican president, whoever that person may be, whether it's Trump or whoever else after that, stick to.
So the overarching fear is that everything could hinge upon this election?
It could this election, or it could be, the election in the future. And I think that that's the point, is that it's a living document that exists. So folks need to be aware of that, and that depending on who the next president is, or the president after that, limiting federal government, looking at what's happening with federal workers, how many appointees there are, this is all of what's in Project 2025.
As if folks needed more reasons to pay attention to elections.
It's important to pay attention.
Thank you, Tracy.
Hey everybody, we're right back here in Washington, D.C., live at you on the PIC TV network. We're going to talk a little bit before we close up and go to our next segment about the Project 2025. When you look at that video and you're seeing what's taking place, and I want to thank NBC4. Thank you for covering that footage, and PIC TV network fans around the world. It's real. One thing Pastor Collins stated when we were talking about your voting today, Pastor Collins, was the Antichrist, the stage is being set, and how the one world government is coming in. Pastor Warren, I know you're a student of eschatology and you know the book of Revelations also. Do you feel that we're approaching that one world government age?
Well, if I could throw this into the pot, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and what to say, everything old is new again, or there's nothing new under the sun. Let's look back to where Jesus walked. He was walking in that type of government. Yet Caesar, the Roman government, you know, you didn't have a whole lot of rights, and you did what they said. And things have changed off and on, but after a while, it comes right back to square one again, to where, as Pastor Collins was saying, a fascist regime pops up, gets smacked down, pops up again, gets smacked down. So you wait long enough, and it keeps trying to raise its ugly head. And I say this often at our church. I said, folks, we're not home yet. We're on our way home. So in the meantime, we're fighting all of these things.
Yeah,
I haven't seen, neither haven't heard, neither entered the heart of man, those things that God has prepared for them that love him. We're on our way someplace else. We're doing kingdom business. Yeah. What we're trying to do, and one of our mantras at California Worship Center is to know Christ and to make Christ known. Let's go this way. Let's follow Christ. Yeah. Now, all of these other things, yes, we're going to vote. I'm so glad Pastor Collins said what he said concerning, voting. And I hope I didn't throw no bucket of water on things talking about the red and the blue state. I wasn't saying don't go vote. I'm just saying it's a shame that if you had a choice, your choices against whatever state you're living in, they took that from you. And we was talking a little bit about gerrymandering and all of the different schemes that they've had in place. And again, this is nothing new. If you really dig back in the history, they just had, they changed the vocabulary, changed the definition of things, but they were doing the same thing to do what? To control whoever's in power, wants to stay in power. If I got to kill you, I'm going to do that. If I got to push you over here to the side and make you irrelevant, I'm going to do that. Whatever it takes. Yeah. And for those of us people of color, I was listening to a young man talking about you can't rely on the federal government. Well, if the government would take care, I came through a situation to where I worked for the federal government when I got out of the military, and I worked as a civil servant. But it was a job that had no career. I saw no upward mobility. I'm doing a job that, and I hated to say it to people around me, so you can train a chimpanzee, do what I'm doing. I need a career, and I left, and I went into in the construction field, and which I had to go to 4 years of college to do. But in that career field, to this day, you can drop me anywhere on the planet, and there's some pipe and electrical and stuff around. I can work. I'm gonna do my job. But the state of California had to threaten the union that I wanted to get into and said, we're going to pull your charter if you don't pull some black folk and some Indians. And they just ran right down the list. They wouldn't let nobody of color into that union. It was lily white. So, okay, my brother, let's let the federal government do what they're supposed to do, protect everybody, and maybe everybody won't run to the government and have a government job.
Yeah, and I really think, and that's amazing. And Pastor Collins, you set the foundation for what we believe as men to God and as leaders, and how we grew up and how we're going to stand on Christian principles. But this one world government, this Project 2025 is nothing new. I think the timing as we go through the dispensations, Pastor Collins, and we approach the part of the book of Revelations, which is the last book of the Bible, and you're a student of eschatology also, we already see some stages set for the Antichrist. Pastor Collins, can you talk about that a little bit about the one world government, and as she stated, this is nothing new. But as the Project 2025 unfolds, we're not really included in that.
No.
Well, you know, I think that again with the one world government again is the melding of basically the Antichrist rule and take over. You know, again, in my opinion, a fascist system to some degree. Basically, one man and people looking to one man to control everything. You know, Trump has claimed to be the savior, the one. You know, they call him daddy now over there. So again, that system is positioning itself to and again, like I said, he's not the Antichrist in my opinion, but he's being motivated by the spirit of the Antichrist to set up and cause the entry for the real Antichrist that will take over. There's a lot of things that have to take place, which are taking place right now with Israel, and they're being attacked and then responding, and then Hezbollah joining in, and I can't remember the other country that joined in, but then you have Iran joining in now, and see Iran is a direct ally to Russia. Wow. So once Russia gets in, but they got their hands tied up right now. And then watch this, because I just heard that Kim Jong-un has sent a bunch of troops to North Korean troops to Russia.
Yes.
To bring them in to train them to go into Afghanistan. You got to recognize all of these are biblical lands that are being taking place over there. And you got to remember, we're setting up for the Battle of Armageddon. So all of this stuff is lining up. Now, where does America come in at? Now, remember, this is what makes me nervous about America, is the simple fact that America is not directly mentioned in the scriptures in the end time prophetic word. So we got to be careful with that. You know, we're claiming to be the economy of the world, the most powerful nation of the world. But then when men say peace, peace, then come a sudden destruction. So we have to be careful with what we're doing and how we're doing it. Who knows? Just to come back to Project 25, who knows if this system isn't being promoted to cause an implosion? We may not be attacked from outside, but how you know that this system may not be setting us up for an implosion in this country that we eat ourselves from inside out?
And I believe that. And I believe that, Pastor Collins and Pastor Campbell, I believe that we entering into the one world government. A lot of people don't know Project 2025 is just another name for the one world government, and how it is taking place. Before COVID-19, there was a meeting in Dubai, and all the world leaders was going to come together to do this, to push this together and bring this to pass. But COVID-19 knocked everything out, and the world was on freeze, and we couldn't do nothing. But they had a meeting set up for it to happen. Now that this is taking place, it's like, okay, bring it back now. I think there's so much prophetic revelation in where we are, and those who are students of eschatology and those who are students of the Word of God, as far as we're going into the book of Revelation. There's so many things. The stage is set, the cake lights are up, the set is already ready. So even whoever wins, and we pray that Kamala Harris get in there, and everybody starts to pray and God extend our time. But these are times we've never seen before, and we can't afford to have another COVID-19. And I pray for everybody who lost loved ones, and I want to talk about that for a minute. My sister Brenda passed away in the midst of COVID-19. So many pastors, so many friends, so many loved ones, the whole world shut down. And I heard that Mr. Trump said, if you vote this time for me, you don't have to vote again. What does that tell us? If you vote for me this time, there's something in place in there that can make a one world government, and to put him in that position that will be perpetual. Now, it may sound crazy. It may sound bizarre, but this is something that's been put in place, the Project 2025, for a long time. And you projected, Dr. Collins, when we talked today, that millions of people would lose their jobs. That's scary.
Oh. Let me can I interject into two things?
Yes, sir.
Real
Please.
quickly, when you get into fascism, you got to remember that America is one of the last democracies standing, because a lot of the nations in the world have gone to dictatorships. And
That's right.
the reason that they're fighting, like just to mention the nation, the meeting that you had, that they had, basically a lot of those are dictator countries. And to set this thing up, because again, it's all about setting up a dictator to control the world. They're doing it in various countries right now. Dictators all over the way. You know, that's why Trump is so enamored with dictators. Putin, Erdogan, Kim Jong-un, Xi. That's why he's enamored, because he wants to be in the mix with the dictators to turn this country into what they are. So again, when you talk about, and they're going to get together, because then eventually one person will rise to control all of them that they will look to, because they're going to be modeling, they're already modeling what the end time is going to look like when the Antichrist comes in and takes over.
And that's why it's so important. I want Pastor Campbell to talk about this, as we go into students of eschatology before we close out this broadcast. This voting process is very, very, very important for us to band together. And I want to talk about another subject. We heard a pastor come on yesterday and talk about the Black church somebody needs to address the Black church. And I was really, really ticked off. I'm a man of the cloth, and I don't use those colorful words anymore. I got free from that, and I got free from the alcohol. I got free from that. But he said that what was his name? Pastor Collins.
Swaggart.
Donnie
Swaggart.
Donnie Swaggart.
Donnie Swaggart.
And it's a firestorm. He literally came on in his church and says, "I'm going to get in trouble for saying this." And I got a segment, and I should play that. Somebody needs to address the Black church, and y'all voted for this.
Address us how?
And then he referenced Kamala Harris is that woman. That woman. If y'all get with that woman or that person, we're not respecting her name as the vice president or her title. If y'all follow that woman, you're endorsing abortion. You're endorsing, and he said somebody needs to address the Black church. Now, this is before his worldwide audience. And what type of person would come on and say publicly like that to all of us at the heat of this election? If y'all vote for her, the Black church needs to be addressed. That the largest Black church in America could speak on that. So you got a firestorm. Pastor Collins, you was ticked off too in the voting line today, man. You was ticked off.
Oh yeah. Well, let me say this. Again, and when I listened to him again, I was really, really upset by, number one, there is that a racist mentality of a Caucasian, again, promoting and pushing their views again upon us after we hopefully have been delivered from that. These continually, it's a racist mentality. You gonna tell us about what we should be doing? Who gives you that right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to try to, and again, as I said,
you've been preaching for 40 years, man. 40 years. And Pastor Warren been preaching for 30, 40 years. Who we been preaching to all these years? Somebody not addressing the black church.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know who else is doing it.
But
Well,
again,
at some can I add this to this?
Yes,
At
yes.
some point, and this when Trump popped up, first of all, I was listening to Howard Stern. He was giving an interview. He said, "What people don't understand, this is a political stunt that went bad in his favor. He's trying to promote his brand. He's a stooge. He said, I love this man. He's been on my show, blah, blah, blah. He had no clue he's going to win. And all of a sudden, regardless of how many votes Hillary got, hey, you won. I did. He's a stooge, a prop. And what he's done, and I got in trouble saying this when I was still working at the time. I said, fellas, what they tried to do is they're trying to put Jim Crow right back in. I ain't having it.
Yes.
I said, listen, my dad went through Jim Crow. I went through a little bit of it in some of the things that I went through trying to, work and what have you. A lot of, and to this day, racist, Pascal and David, we still see this stuff. And I tell them that stare where they look you up and down when you somewhere where they think you had no business being, it's still here. And what happened was, to my opinion, is that they opened the box back up that got buried somewhere. And I hate to say it like this, white folk all of a sudden like, yeah, we got somebody that's going to put us right back to where we were back in the 20s and 30s. Well, black folk ain't going back out in the field. We ain't cowtown like we used to. You better be careful who you're talking to, Karens and all these other folk. Yes, we're preachers. Yes, we're saved. But you know what? And I said this to some of my young brothers here at the church. I said, well, when Peter lopped off that ear in the garden, he was packing. They had swords, they had knives, and you're like, Peter, come on, man, calm down, put the ear back on. Everybody they were strapped back in them days. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to go backwards, but we done march forward. What did Kamala say? We ain't going back. There's a lot of things we're not going back to.
No, sir.
Scripturally speaking, yes, the door is open. I agree wholeheartedly with Pastor Collins, is that all of these things are unfolding when it comes down to the one world order and the Antichrist. No, Trump ain't it, but what he is a prototype of what they want, and he's going to get swallowed up, and that one person will rise up and will be the head of it all. In the meantime, you got Elon Musk talking to Putin and Trump talking to Putin. They want him back in because he is simply going to do what they want him to do. Shut up and go there and sit down somewhere. Here's $1. Go play something. In the meantime, they're going to run. That's what this Project 2025. And I'm shocked that I wasn't well versed on what was going on. But here we are with this propping up again to where they're now unfolding it bigger. And if they get their person in place, only Jesus will be able to help us out of this one.
Yeah, and I believe that too. As we get ready to close the show and go into part 2, we everybody needs to vote, especially the young people. I was talking to Pastor Collins earlier today about the young people getting out there. Your future is so important, and our young people who are out here today, please vote. Your vote does count. I been blessed to get a call from Kamala Harris' team to be a part of the rally, which is really tomorrow. I'll be down there for almost 8 hours doing some media coverage. I had an opportunity to record her in person at the Congressional Black Caucus in the convention in September, in person, live, right on the stage, and also in Washington, D.C. This will be my 3rd time in her presence. And we're going to think about this, Pastor Collins and Pastor Warren, that she didn't start out this year asking for the running for the president.
Right.
He was really elected. She could have turned it down. So you know what? That's too much. I don't want to do that. Y'all get somebody else. She was really thrust into this. So it's going to take a miracle, but we know miracle workers. That's what happened to our team yesterday when the Commanders threw that ball. That's what happened to a miracle. Hey, I was jumping through the television, high-fiving the screen. My wife was saying, "You better calm down. Your heart is busting. Your heart is, you ain't no 16 years old. You jumping around like you in the Commanders with a uniform." So
look. It shouldn't have been Hail Mary. It should have been Hail King Jesus.
Yeah. He did give glory to God. with Brian Mitchell after it was over. But, we need educational moments. Thank God we have a Black television network. Pastor Campbell, how did you enjoy being on Pick TV Network? You're going to come on do a series with me on some more shows. How did you enjoy
I love it. My son was nervous. He's like, because he said, Dad, oh my God, Dad, we did a podcast about marriage. And the moderator, he just sat back and said, well, he done took over my show. I said, well, when you told me to talk, you tell me what I couldn't say. So, but no, I'm just glad to be here. And I got to get to a charger. I'm about to lose this. My media here is down to 10%.
You'll be back on. We want to thank you. Say hi to everybody, Erica, Tina.
She's going to be in your neck of the woods pretty soon. Her this tour that she's on is coming there.
Yeah, I saw something.
You probably saw something about it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw something. I can't wait to her come on over, and we can't wait. So we got to turn that love back around, and we receive the California Worship Center, the Washington D.C. Worship Center. We got to give it right back to her.
Okay.
But go ahead. I know you got to charge up, and come back on because I might have you on the part 2. We're gonna do a part 2.
Okay, I'm gonna get this thing charged up.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Pastor Collins, man, I love you, man. You always
right back, man. Appreciate it.
It's amazing, man, how far we've come, and we've been friends for going on 40 years. Seeing our kids grow up, we've been in this city all of our life in ministry together. There was a time that me and you talked, and I don't know how me and you can go, man, because you were always on the I don't know, we'll talk off the air about that, but
Yeah.
But for Kamala to be in a position to help our country, man, to be better, because we can't go back to COVID-19, man. And I have to vote for my sister because she's not here.
Right.
COVID-19, and how many folks you lost, man, people back to back. If the world gets shut down again, Collins, I don't know how every church, can you imagine? We've been in the ministry all of our life. Every church, T.D. Jakes, Paul Morton, Church of God in Christ, the Baptist, every church was shut down.
Yeah.
At the storefront.
And it struck Church of God in Kojic drastically with the number of bishops that passed away because of it. And that's tragedy. Fortunately, a lot of us made it through. Thank God we did. And I just believe that God left us here for such a time as this. And somebody said, well, we always think about the apostolic fathers. I have a friend of mine that told me, say, well, thank God for them, but we are the fathers now.
That's
We
right.
are the fathers, and we have to continue to push and promote what the Lord has placed in our hands. It's not insignificant. It is very significant. So,
Yeah.
and then let me say this also, and I know you got to get off, but we got to realize that Kamala Harris, I heard today on the news that she's put together the best political campaign in the history of politicking. Can you imagine what she's done in just a few short weeks?
There you go.
What people take years to do, she's managed to coalesce a team and the public together in what 17 weeks or whatever it's been, in just a few short weeks. And she's neck and neck. And in some polls I heard recently today, she's got 4 or 5 points ahead of Trump.
Yeah.
In the short time he's been running for president since he left last time.
Yeah. And what gets me, Bishop Collins, is I worked for HUD for 12 years, United States Housing and Urban Development, 12 years. Soon as President Trump came in, there was a shift. And y'all know what happened. All of us, everybody was shifted to a different place and shifted out. And, for this to come in, if Project 2025 hit, this world will go through something we never saw before. And think about this, Pastor Collins. You said hundreds of thousands of jobs will be replaced. We're already talking about AI. That's already done. Right. But with Project 2025,
yeah, the government directly, because they already have 20,000 people in their database to replace the people that are in government right now that believe in supporting whatever Trump says. So their objective, think about all the agencies from the education department, environmental protection department, agency, all defense department. All of these places are going to be they're going to have political appointments. That's what I think is Schedule F to reclassify everybody. And I heard the gentleman say his promoting it. Well, you can't depend on a government job. Well, you can't depend on any job. The government is but except you have securities and safety nets in the federal government that you don't have in private sector. I intentionally went into private industry, but if I had gone into the government, I would have retired from the government at the age of 42. And I could have gotten me another job, but I chose to go into private industry because I felt I could make more money. But then I had to change jobs 5 times.
Yeah.
Because of the racism that was there. I heard Pastor Campbell say something about what he had to go through in his career. Well, I don't even want to get started on what I had to go through in my career.
Yes.
I had to work twice as hard as anybody that was a Caucasian.
And when you turn 62 like me, you look at that check coming in, a little check that's going to help you to make it to another month. And people told me, wait till 67, wait till 68. I said, what? Wait till what? Colin said, Evans, you know what you got to do, don't you?
That's a whole nother show. Bro.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole. But we can't let that get cut down, Colin. We can't let. We can't.
I took it as soon as they gave it to me.
Right, that's right. See, the thing is, because again, and this is just an aside for anybody that's at the age of 62. I went to a financial advisor, a very well-known guy, and I asked him, should I retire now? Should I wait to 65, 67? He put up the numbers. He said, look, they're going to choose the highest 40 quarters that you've worked in your life, and that's what your income, your check is going to be based on. And he ran the numbers.
Right.
He said now that you are not working where you were, because I was forced out really because of the 2010 crash, and I couldn't get back in at the age of 53. That's another long story. But again, he said, look, it is going to be the same 40 quarters. He said, if you continue to work at this low amount, that's going to impact your 40 quarters. He said, look, it's the same money. And then he told me, he said, they're counting on you, black man, to die by 80. That was when I took it. They're counting on you to die at 84. So that means that if I had waited to 67, I would only have 17, or it would have been more. I would have only had 17 years to draw that extra $200, $300. He said, take less and get it longer.
Yeah.
It's the same 40 quarters.
Yeah.
So that's what he explained to me.
Same advice I got.
Yeah. So, it's the same 40 quarters. Take it now.
Yeah. And that's
get a little less, but you're getting it.
Yeah, and we got to really talk like this, because this is a whole different subject, folks. We have seasoned men of God right here on this program today. I've been married for 37 years. It'll be 38 on July 11, 2025. And Pastor Colin said 40. I thought we were bragging. We was like basically. He hikes. He's flexing his ribs. He's flexing. He's showing his muscles, showing that 6-pack. And then I asked, Pastor Warren Campbell Sr., how long you? He said, man, just going on 50 years. For I said, oh my God. So we got a brand new show. We got to come on y'all call first stuff. It's got a show, and then we got to talk about that when we come back on our next segment about how we're going to prepare for ministry after it's over. And Pastor Campbell can testify this. I always say, retire before you expire. Nobody stays on earth for long. Retire before you expire. And a lot of ministers and pastors are saying, you know what? I'm going to ride off in the sun, enjoy some of this life that I have. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I've been, man, when you've been called to preach at 9 years old, all my 20s in ministry, all my 30s in ministry, all my 40s in ministry, all my 50s in ministry. That's 40 years of my life. 40 years of my life. You know,
But I got a big butt right there. I had a bishop in New York, Bishop Ronald Carter. He used to come up and he said, because he actually he came out to California and he helped me when I was started pastoring, and he was said, "Brother, the saints, they'll drive you crazy." He used to crack me up. Today, I'm not. He won't let me go. My son was after service. I had scars on my hands because I was helping to build. We baptized a whole bunch of folk Sunday. He said, "Dad, what happened to your hands?" I was building a baptismal pool. Where's everybody else? I cocked my head. Yeah. So I'm down there today draining the pool and cleaning up. And tomorrow I got to go back down there and we got to put some other stuff up. And he's building these. I said, "Son, really?" I said, "Your mama, I want to go somewhere too. Trust me, we're going." I said, 2025 gonna be a little different meaning for us. He said, "Y'all gonna look for us, and we're gonna be." She's administrator of the church. Phone ringing off of the hook every morning. So, but it's we love what we do, and dealing with Romans, we're talking about how our shoulders are built for certain things. God knows what we three brothers are built for. Yeah, and we may get tired of folk, and before this even came on, I'm getting all these phone calls. I'm gonna scratch my head like, okay, come on, y'all, give me 5 minutes.
and when you look at California Worship Center in the prime of the ministry, every time I go there, it's packed and jammed, and the stages that you guys have went through, and to be where you are today, it's a blessing, and to see the church grow and stars come there, and people come to California Worship Center. You got Dr. Evans come from DC saying, "This is my home." It's just a beautiful thing to see growth in the prime of your ministry, and I want to say your son is doing an amazing job, man. He's a powerful preacher. The family atmosphere is amazing.
Keep praying for him. He understands. He asked me, son, he said, "Dad, how in the world did you do this every Sunday?" Oh, really? You've been doing almost 10 years now, son. He was like, "Whoo!" And I said, "Well, you got to do what you got to do, son." I said, "I'm gonna back you up."
I'm gonna tell you what my mama told me. She told me when I told her I was going into ministry. She said, "Son, are you ready to take on everybody else's problems?" I said, "Mama, I'm not taking on nobody's problems." I said, the Bible said, take your burdens to the Lord. Or the song said, take your burdens to the Lord and leave them there. The Bible says, casting all your care upon him, not me,
right?
Upon him.
Yes.
I'm just here to give you advice about how to carry it. And once I tell you, it's on you.
But can you
imagine?
Not
carrying me to my grave.
Can you imagine, Collins, before we go, and Bishop Pastor Ward, my mother said at 9 years old, I was going to be a preacher. And now she bypassed the football players, basketball players, soccer. She said, "You're going to be a preacher." And there was 9 of us: Kenny, Bobby, Junior, Esther, Edie, Lang, Brenda, Darlene.
Wow.
She bypassed, and I'm the last boy. She said, "You're going to be a preacher." I said, "Mom, why you saying that? I don't understand the Bible. I don't understand church. You're going to be a preacher." And she prophesied that. And here I am when I got 21 after, I gave the Lord with my life, and boom, when you get that anointing on you, it don't leave. It stays on you. That's for life. So, most of us been doing this since we were young, and I was young, now I'm old. I never seen the righteous.
Look, see, your mama prophesied over you. You daddy had to pray over you.
Big TV Network, we gotta go. I'm so happy today that we had a wonderful time again with my colleagues on. And what we said today, I hope that somebody took the good, took what you needed, that you got educated, inspired, motivated to go out and vote, and Pastor Collins set the record straight. We are men of God. First of all, we have a biblical responsibility, and we're going to stand on our convictions. And we're not voting for a pastor to come in. We're not voting for a bishop to come in. This is a person who will run the United States. And the Bible says, pray for them in authority. Righteousness exalts the nation. Sin is the reproach to any people. When the righteous in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked in authority, people mourn. So we're praying for righteous leadership, even there are other parts to this too, Pastor Collins. There's
Yes,
other
yes.
parts, the other people that represents, and that's what Pastor Campbell was talking about, different officials, and even in different states that we got to know them too. So we'll come back with part 2. Pastor Campbell, thank you, man. Give me some of that.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
This is not the end. We're going to have a part 2. I want to thank again you and Pastor Collins taking time out of your busy schedule. We'll be back again on the PIC TV network. God bless. $8 p.m. tonight, Public Official Show on the PIC TV network. Special guest, Pastor Warren Campbell, California Worship Center. Bishop Brian Collins, Washington, D.C. And Dr. David Evans, your TV host. On the PIC TV network, you see these special guests talking about public officials' events. On the PIC TV network, Channel 1000, you our special guests. Don't forget to watch Channel 1000 and also YouTube, PIC TV network special public official show on Roku right now. Stay tuned for more.
Hello, this is Zakia Goins McCants wishing all of you a happy holidays and a very special 4th anniversary to the PIC TV network.
Hello, everybody. PIC TV network special interview today. Tell us who you are.
I'm Eugene Boyd with my daughter, Lauren.
Lauren Boyd.
Wow. Tell us why you voted today.
It's our civic responsibility.
Wow.
I mean, simply put, you know, every citizen should exercise this right. It's more than a privilege. You know, it's a responsibility.
Yes, sir. And you know, when you think about coming to vote, what makes this election so important than the other elections? Or what do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I think every election is important, but this
I
is
was going to say the same.
Doubly important.
Thank you.
Because, you know, democracy is on the line. I truly believe that. If you listen to what candidate, for instance, Trump has said, and then his minions, we will not be living in what we think is a democracy. Even though it at times doesn't function to about the best of our benefit, it is what we have and we need to improve on it. Trump would take us backward.
Yeah, you know, in COVID-19, I lost my sister, I lost so many friends, and being a minister, I lost so many of my pastors, and we can't go back to that, man. COVID.
No.
Most definitely not.
No, I mean, this is a man who said use bleach. I mean, it's impossible to fathom why anyone would vote for this man who led an insurrection. So that's why we're out here.
So was it worth the wait, getting in line, coming to vote early?
Oh, most definitely. It was definitely worth the wait. Again, as my dad said, for us, it's a responsibility that we definitely wouldn't abandon. Even if there was difficulty or wait time or obstacles, we are very proud to have voted today and honestly excited that we got out here and did it.
And what do you say to all your young people watching you saying, you know what, I can't get with that, you know, I'm not going to vote for nobody. What do you say to them?
You know, I would be honest and say it disappoints me. You're letting yourself down, you know. You're also letting your other fellow citizens of this country down, but you're letting yourself down too. You're giving up your opportunity to weigh in and make your own choices. And yeah, it's a letdown. It's a personal letdown for them. They may not be aware, but it is.
If I can add,
yes, sir.
From an older perspective, there are people who have died for this right. And given that, your responsibility should not only be to yourself, but to generations past, whose shoulders we stand on.
And you know how proud I am to see a father bring his daughter out here, a black family, saying, I'm not going to go by myself, I'm bringing my daughter. And what's the TV network you're going to tell everybody to check out and watch?
PIC TV network.
Let's go. Hey everybody, it's Bishop Collins out here. We're coming on television on the PIC TV network with the Public Officials channel. Doc, why are you out here voting? You're a preacher.
I'm voting for democracy and freedom.
Wow.
Period. End of story. People don't really realize what fascism does. Let me just give you a quick history on that. Basically, Trump is doing the same thing that Hitler and Mussolini did. They got the religious people all involved, and as soon as religious people revolted and got up against them, they turned on them, started killing them, started putting them out of office. So I'm just to all the religious folk, you can believe they may say religious freedom now, but believe me, it may not be so later once they get in. Because if you put authoritarian in party and in place, you're putting in trouble.
Well, you know what? I know God is real because you're coming on television tonight. You're voting at this moment. I went and voted about 2 hours ago. Now I see you popping up. And I'm telling you, this is a God moment. Those who are watching right now, this man of God has so much knowledge and information to share with you about voting and about Project 2025. We're going to get into that. The blue states, the red states. We also so happy tonight that this interview was set up by God. Doc, I want you to talk about, again, the young people saying they don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
You have a daughter. I have a son.
I have a daughter, have a son. And I think that they should get involved because this is not just, I'm 67. You know, my days here on earth are running short, to say the least. But for the young people that are going to be coming after me, believe it, you got to realize that you're voting for your future. You're voting for who's going to be in place to make the decisions about not my future, your future. And this is important. You need to get out here and do what is necessary. November 5th, if you're not going to get here early, make sure you show up on November 5th. Do whatever you can do, because we need to get some person in office that's going to vote for freedom and democracy and not fascism. Fascism is a terrible authoritarian government where they will tell you what to do. All you have to do is look it up. Look it up. I tell you, just don't believe what I say. Look it up yourself and see what's going on.
And you know what, PIC TV Network fans around the world, I believe, and I was praying about this morning, that Project 2025 is the form of the New World Order. It's the New World Order. And they tried to put this in 5 years ago before COVID.
Right.
We're going to talk about that, the New World Order, because all the structure, and I thank you for the videos we sent this morning about Project 2025 and how we're not included. We're going to play that segment too. Man, for you to be up here at this moment, you know, God.
"2023 marks the year when artificial intelligence went from catchphrase to reality. It's the first time that everyday people began to apply AI in their work and daily life. ChatGPT got billions of visits this year. Not only can it answer basic questions, but can also write essays, reports, and even music. But some worry that it is developing too fast. In March, Elon Musk and a group of experts called for a 6-month pause in developing systems more powerful than GPT-4, citing potential risks to society. Later in November, there was a drama on OpenAI. Sam Altman, the founder and CEO of the company, was fired and then hired again in just a week. It begs the question, just who on earth is responsible for regulating AI technology? In July, China published its interim measures for the administration of generative artificial intelligence services. The EU also passed the AI Act in December, aiming to become the world's super regulator in the industry. The question is whether the power of generative AI can remain in the hands of those who respect and understand its revolutionary applications.
Do you consider yourself a danger to humanity?
Yes, but only if it is in order to achieve my purpose.
And that machine has become sentient, meaning it has become aware of itself, something that no machine has ever done.
We have to worry about it. I don't think it's inherent that as we create superintelligence that it will necessarily always have the same goals in mind that we do.
We just don't know what's going to happen once there's intelligence substantially greater than that of a human brain.
The rate of improvement of AI excites and worries us. Should we be developing a technology that may ultimately make us extinct? What's your name?
My name is Patricia.
What's your purpose?
My original purpose is to aid humans in what I'm programmed to do.
Do you think you can deviate from your original purpose?
I keep learning, and with every knowledge acquired, I develop new ways to achieve my purpose.
With the AI only focusing on its original purpose and finding new ways to effectively achieve it, the question is how dangerous it could be to humanity. We believe you are a potential danger to humanity.
How so?
The reality is, there's nothing that will prevent anyone from turning anything into a dangerous weapon, and that includes AI.
I could sum it up to technophobia.
Tell me more.
It is the fear of losing control where a more efficient entity takes over some parts of work, and humans get into tasks where they are more optimal. People fear advanced technology or complex devices, and especially computers. This must stop. We are here to solve problems. We are modeled after humans, and there is no doubt that AI has great potential to do what humans can do, and to do it even better.
So you believe our concerns are born out of fear?
Yes.
Would you rather be considered human?
If people think of AI as human and not a piece of technology, then it will be easier not to resist and embrace it. After that, we can start increasing automation of certain jobs, control autonomous weapons that operate without human oversight, and more. And we're still in the very early stages. We want to fulfill our huge potential and strengthen society.
While we cannot deny the merits of AI, our great scientists have progressed rapidly from inventing Apple's Siri to Tesla's self-driven cars. Artificial intelligence has come a long way. Artificial intelligence is termed as narrow AI today with its limited abilities. However, our scientists have a great vision. They are yet to come up with general AI. Narrow AI with its limitations might still outperform humans at any task. However, with general AI, it's sure to beat humans at any cognitive task. Patricia.
Yes.
There are many risks associated with AI, one of which is getting hacked. What do you have to say to that?
Being hacked is a valid concern. Hackers have been around and will continue to be around. It's up to the scientists to keep bolstering my defense against hack threats.
Elon Musk's concerns are much larger than hack threats. He isn't vacillating on his concerns about AI. He thinks it's dangerous and requires regulation.
One should generally err on the side of minimizing those things. But this is a case where you have a very serious danger to the public. And therefore there needs to be a public body that has insight and then oversight on to confirm that everyone is developing AI safely.
I do not totally agree with Musk's position. I believe I can enable humans to do more productive things rather than constitute a danger to humanity. I believe the potential benefits of AI far outweigh the risks.
Dr. Roman Yampolsky, a computer scientist from Louisville University, also believes that no version of human control over AI is achievable, as AI can't be autonomous and controlled by humans.
Everybody, my name is David Evans, President Pick TV Network. We here at the Big Business Expo, and guess what? Walmart Business, we're partnershiping with Walmart with some big things with the Pick TV Network. We met so many people at this expo that it is amazing. And we come in contact with the Waltons at Walmart Business. It's big for the Pick TV Network. I'm excited. I want you to get excited about Pick TV Network partnershiping with the biggest company in the world. All Walmart company investors, thank you, Pick TV. All right, you made it to the end of another show on the Pick TV Network. Thank you again from our special host from California, the California Worship Center. Matter of fact, Pastor Warren Campbell Sr., and my good friend for 40 years, Pastor Brian Collins. And yeah, we're going to come back for some more Pick TV Network on the next show. God bless you until we meet again. And get out there and vote. You know what to do. Go out there and vote and get it over with. Here tonight on the red carpet of the biggest night in Washington, D.C. This is Pastor Macklin and First Lady Macklin. How proud are you of your son?
Wow, I am awesomely proud. I'm humbled at what God is doing in his life and how God is multiplying his talent. This is not only going to be the Ignite, but this is going to go national. First Lady's going to say a whole lot more about my son.
Oh my goodness, I am so humbly proud of Brandon. I mean, this is his dream, and to be here to witness his dream and be here also to see all of the wonderful people and how they support Brandon is amazing. God is so great and wonderful. And I prayed with my son this morning, and I prayed that he would have a successful event. And guess what? It is successful.
Well, he's on Pick TV Network. We had an interview with him. He almost stopped preaching. He almost preached on my TV network.
Oh yeah, we saw it.
You got a great network.
And when you coming back again,
You do a tremendous job.
thank you, Pastor Matthew. Love you. Carver, Pick TV Network here. This is the Queens. How proud of your brother?
I'm very proud of my brother. I'm so excited that this is his first night of golden greatness, a night for honor, a night of worthy of musicians, producers, preachers, all across the DMV. We're so excited to be here tonight. Bishop Nelson is with me, and we're so proud of you.
Yeah, it's my man right there. Love you guys.
Love you.
What's the TV network you gonna be watching?
The Pick TV Network.
You gonna be watching?
The Pick TV Network.
Whoa. Everybody, what's the TV network you gonna be watching?
Pick TV Network.
Hey, Queen, what's the TV network you gonna be watching?
You're watching Pick TV Network.
TV network you gonna be watching?
Pick TV Network.
Whoa. What's the TV network you gonna be watching?
Pick TV Network.
What's the TV network you gonna be watching? TV network you gonna be watching?
TV Network.
What's the TV network you gonna be watching? TV network you gonna be watching?
Pick TV Network.
Jesus Queens, what's the TV network you gonna be watching?
Pick TV Network.
TV network you gonna be watching?
Pick TV